All right, okay, so we are recording. And in this vlog 004 for EVnSteven. Hey there, everybody. Thanks for watching the vlog yesterday and the day before and the day before that. I'm endeavoring to record a vlog every day to build this channel. And so today I'm going to go through the app completely from start to finish. It's going to be a start to finish tutorial, and I'm going to pick a user account that's not set up yet. I'm going to pick a account that is, let's see, maybe that one. Okay, so we've got a new user account signed up. The new user gets 10 free tokens as a promotion. So the token balance is 10, and you can just close this. You'll get an email with the token wallet update when you purchase tokens. So let's say if we just do that. And purchase a token. You'll see in a moment, you'll get a Google Play order receipt or an App Store receipt. And then a balance update. And also a notification in app that you purchased 5 tokens. And at that point, you'll see your balance has been updated. And if you go into the balance details, you'll see that you have 5 purchased, 5 promo and gift tokens, and 0 is consumed, and the balance is 15. So what are tokens used for? Well, that's how we fund the app, and we're going to make them as cheap as possible so that the app is very, 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 very affordable. It should be approaching a cost of almost 0 in relation to all of the other expenses that you have for your vehicle. Let's take a look at the main screen first off. Along the top, we have these options. There's a label at the top, and there's 4 icons. The first one opens up a side menu with all of these options, such as logging in, logging out, getting to the website, giving us a rating, going to our social pages, and configuring your user account. You can also change the language if you speak another language. We have all of these languages currently and new ones coming soon, and you can send us a support request if you want a specific language added. Okay, and then back along the top, there's a network status. It shows whether you're connected to the internet or not. We have a dark mode and light mode toggle. So at nighttime, if you don't want to get blinded by your screen, you can put it on dark mode. And then again, we have our token wallet right there. Down at the bottom, there are 5 buttons. These are effectively screens, main, I guess you could call them tabs or screens. And they'll have different information on them. So let's start at the vehicles. This is your vehicle page. You can add multiple vehicles here and track their charging time simultaneously. And you tap the plus to add a new vehicle, and there's a tutorial that you can click on, which will slide up this tutorial viewer. And then you just click play to watch the tutorial.
Hey, this is David, and...
All right. Stations. This is where you'll have all of your favorite stations. These will be stations that you own or stations that you have favorited, which are owned by others. 2 options are to add a vehicle, add a station with the plus button, or search with the search function. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this just yet. Charging. This is where all your charging sessions live while they're alive. And very simple, hit the lightning bolt icon in the bottom right to start a charging session. And you can also watch a tutorial just like the other screens. Tutorials are available now on all screens. And then down one more to the right is the billing page. And the billing page is broken down into pending transactions, pending sessions, payable. These are the sessions that have been included in an invoice. Receivable, those are invoices that have been sent by station owners to station users and are currently payable. And then the paid, these are all the invoices that have been paid. So if you're a station owner, you will see all 4 tabs. If you're a station user, you'll see just these 3. 1, 2, 3. And then finally down at the bottom right is the support page. This is where you can communicate directly with us by sending us a message. You can include information about your hardware to help us diagnose anything, and also you can add a screenshot. And we get back to you very quickly on the support. All right, so let's start with adding a charging session. Having set up nothing in the app, if we try to start a charging session, it's going to say, hey, you got to set up your profile first. So let's do that. So I'm going to give this fictitious user a company name, and we're going to pretend that she's a station owner, and we're going to call this Condo Associates. Okay, we'll call them Condo Associates Limited. We'll make them in the United States, and we'll turn on some of the options down here for allowing anonymous data usage so that we can improve the app and allow us to send offers and update emails, allow updates and offer push notifications, allow forgotten session reminder emails, and allow forgotten session reminder push notifications. These all increase the functionality of the app, but by law we have to include these options. So if you want to turn them all off, go for it. Down at the bottom, you can request deletion of your account, but we'll explore that in more detail later. All right, so Sarah now has a newly configured profile. She's got a name, full name, a company name, and a country, and that's great. So we'll just click save at the top right. And now we're almost there. Okay, so we're going to need at least 1 station and 1 vehicle to start a charging session. So we're going to please add a station and a vehicle. So let's do the vehicle first. We'll select a make. Let's say it's I don't know. Let's say it's a Cadillac Lyriq 2023. We'll give it a battery size. I don't know what the battery size of this vehicle is, so let's just pretend it's 80. And let's give it a fictitious license plate. Oops. And we'll give it a color. We'll call it gold Cadillac. And we could pick a vehicle image by using the pick image, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use the default. All right, so we're almost there. Now we just need to add a station. So as a manager of a condominium, Sarah will have information about the electrical outlets in her condominium's parking garage. On the stations page, again, you can add a station with the plus. You can search for an existing one, and you can watch the tutorial. So I recommend you watch the tutorial first, get to know this next step of adding a station, and then proceed to add the station. All right, so the ownership information gets inherited from Sarah's user account. So we set up this information beforehand. And so we'll just click next. So let's call this let's say this is Associates Condo 1, level M. We'll say the address is 1234 Main Street, city, state, USA. 9965, 99609, something like that. And there, so we have a name for the location and an address. Next, we're going to decide. So let's just assume that Sarah has a parking stall with an electrical outlet, and she wants to make that available for EV charging to one or more of her residents. And her electrician has said that it's a 120 volt outlet, and its maximum ampage is 16 amps. So the software will calculate that that's the maximum power for that outlet is 1.92 kilowatts. If the electrician says otherwise, then put some other information. But this will be the maximum power that this outlet should be delivering. So we'll click next. And let's say we've got tax. We'll just give it a tax code called tax. We'll say it's, 6.5%. And we'll give it some fictitious tax code number. And each of these steps, by the way, has a description, and you can go in and read more just to give you a little bit more help on this. Next, we'll set up the currency. I said it was the United States, but you also have to set the currency manually. And once you set your currency, you can't change it. So if you mess this up, you're just going to have to delete this current station and then start fresh. This value cannot be changed. So we're setting it to United States dollars. We'll click next, and now we want to make a decision of whether we are going to allow our station users to adjust their check-in and check-out time after they check out. There's a lot of reasons you would like to do this, and a lot of reasons you would like maybe not to do this. So I'm going to go into that a little more detail a little bit later on. But let's just say, in this case, Sarah has the utmost confidence and trust in her resident who will be using this outlet. And so let's turn that on and click next. So this is the first time Sarah has set up the app. She hasn't talked to her attorney yet about how she's going to, what are the terms of service between her company and the users of the outlet. So we provide a default terms of service that basically says you need to call your attorney or lawyer and get them to draw one up. And that should be pretty straightforward. We can't provide that because we don't provide legal advice, and that's entirely your responsibility. So just to get started, we're going to provide a default terms of service through the app. All right, the last step is setting up the rate schedule. So at this point, I'm going to pull out my utility bill, and I'm going to look at what the rates are. And I'm going to give this rate schedule a name. I'm going to call it February 2025, just so that I know, just so that I give it a label that means something, because the rates are going to change over time, and you're going to go back and reset and adjust these rates. So I look at my utility bill, and I see that there are, let's say there's three rates. There's peak, off-peak, and mid-peak, or peak, off-peak. Let's just make three. We're not going to give them names. We're just going to call them hourly rate 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to say the first rate goes from 12 midnight to 8 a.m. The second goes from 8 a.m. to, say, 4 p.m. And the third goes from 4 p.m. to midnight. And why not? Let's do another rate, and we'll say that one goes from 11 p.m. to midnight. So we have a rate schedule with 4 rates, and they're all $0. Now we have to set the price per hour for each rate. Now, if you recall, the station that we set up had a maximum power rate, and we need that information in order to determine a appropriate cost per hour. Since we don't have information real time regarding the energy that's actually being consumed off that outlet, because it's not metered, it doesn't have any electronics in it, and we don't have access to vehicle APIs. We're just using an assumption that the power level is going to go from 0 to 100%, and it's going to stay at 100% all the way until the charging session is over. And that is the basis of, and if we know the power level, the maximum power of that outlet, we can very, very, very easily calculate the total electricity energy consumed during that session, if that makes sense. I'm going to explain that in more detail in another video. All right, so I'm going to look first on my utility bill, and I'm going to see what the rate is from midnight to 8 a.m. And then I'm going to click the calculator right here, and it's going to pull up a rate calculator. And in the rate calculator, I'm going to type the cost per kilowatt hour. I'm going to say this is 18 cents per kilowatt hour. And I'm going to put a 50% markup to account for providing the service and perhaps parking, what have you. I'm just going to put 50% in there just as a safety margin. And when I do, based on the power of that outlet, I get a suggested hourly rate of 52 cents US. So I'm going to use that suggested rate and then do the same thing for the second. I'm going to say between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Let's say that that's when the electricity is very expensive, because maybe we're in an industrial area and the daytime energy uses is very high. And so in this case, it'll be $1.01 per hour for that 1.92 kilowatt outlet. And then in the evening, let's pretend that that's the lowest rate, and we'll say that's 12 cents per kilowatt hour. And we'll set that at US 35 cents per hour. Finally, we'll make rate 4, which is 11 p.m. to midnight. We'll just use the same rate that occurs from midnight to 8 a.m. and put that there. So what was that again? 52 cents. And we can just type that in directly. So our utility company happens to have 3 rates, but the final one spans over the midnight, so I have to break it into 2. So I've got hourly rate 1 and hourly rate 4 have the same price. And simply because we have this slider system for configuring the ranges that those rates exist, we have to do it this way. All right, so let's set this to 4 p.m. again, and 8 a.m. And there we go. All right, so we are complete. Now we'll go down to the bottom, press save. Now we have completed and added a charging station. So let's quickly review what we have. In the vehicles tab, we have 1 vehicle. In the stations tab, we have 1 station. And that station has 4 rates. Its power level is 1.9 kilowatts. It's ready. Its name is this. Its ID is this. Its address is this. And if you want more details for the station, tap this button to see the owner, the owner's contact, the email, the maximum power, the tax rate, tax ID, checkout times, whether they're allowed to be adjusted, printing of station signage. So we can do the printing of the station signage at this point. And then we can send that off to our printer. My printer's not connected right now, and I'm not going to troubleshoot that. Just go back here. Okay. And we have the ability to program a NFC tag. These are inexpensive tags you can order on Amazon. You can stick them on your sign, and your users can tap the tag to start a charging session. And then there's the rate schedule. So we've got from midnight to 8 a.m., 52 cents per hour, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., $1, 4 p.m. till 11 p.m., 35 cents, and 11 p.m. to midnight, 52 cents, just like this one, because the first one and the last one are actually the same rate. We can see that there's no active sessions, and we can view the history if there's any, and there isn't any because the station hasn't been used yet. So as a station owner, I can see all that information. As a station user, you'll see less of that. So I'm going to show you the second way you can add a a charging station. Now this would be if you had some signage this one's printed in black and white, but it could be color, obviously. Like up on the wall there. Where am I? Yeah, this guy. There's a printed color signage. So the signage has a QR code on it, and I'm going to scan that with the app. So back in the app, I'm going to hit the search, and then I'm going to hit the scan, and it's going to turn the camera on, and then I'm going to put the QR code in front, and it's going to say there is a valid QR code detected. Gives me the station ID, which is the station ID that's printed on the signage. And then bingo, I just click next. And my mistake, that was a station that was on the development platform. So that station doesn't exist in this database. Let's pull another one up. I think I have one here. All right, so there's another one. So this station has this ID. These are assigned by the software. That's the full ID. That's the owner and the company. And then to add it as a favorite, you click this arrow here. At this point, you can review the information about the station to make sure it looks like you've added the correct one. You can see the rate schedules. And then at the bottom, one action is to add to favorites. Okay, so when you add a station that's owned by someone else, its first step is to present you with the terms of service that are defined by the owner of the station. This terms of service is the temporary user agreement that we provide that tells the station owner that they need to call their lawyer, to call their attorney, and get a terms of service drawn up. So read through that, understand it, and then view the rate schedule, and then you'll click that you've read and agree to the terms of service and rates for the station, and agree to receive a copy of the agreement by email. The station owner will be copied, CC, on the email so that you may communicate directly with each other on station-related subjects. We don't own stations, the developers of this app. I mean, we don't own charging stations. So we don't get involved in the negotiation of terms between station owners and station users. That's completely up to you. Okay, so click accept on there. The station's added successfully, and then you'll see an email come in saying that you accepted the terms of service. And you'll see that come into your email, and you'll want to keep a copy of that. And it looks like we're getting snow tonight. Wonderful. All right. Now let's quickly review. We have on the left, bottom left, we have the vehicles tab. There's one vehicle in here. There's a station tab with 2 stations, and you can still see the tutorial button visible at all times. These tutorials will get updated as we update the software. And when you look at them, you'll be able to see the version of the software that the tutorial applies to. This is 240 plus 44. The first number is a major version. The second is the minor version, and the third version is the patch. So when this number changes, it just means it's a very small update. This is a bigger update, and this is a major update that might require some intervention on your part. And this is the release number. So this video tutorial was the 44th, was a tutorial about the 44th release of this software. Okay. So that video version is slightly out of date. We're now at 2.4.3, build 48. So this is the 48th release of the software. And this is where you'll check for updates. If there are no updates, you'll just get this. And normally you won't actually have to do anything, but we've added this as a way to manually check for updates. All right, so we got 2 stations, 2 vehicles. Now we've satisfied all the requirements of setting up a charging station. So Sarah's got a station set up, and she's going to try it out. So she goes down and parks her car, plugs it in, and she says, okay, I'm going to plug into condo 1 level M. So she sets that. Since she's got 2 stations in the software, she can slide back and forth and select between the 2 stations. She only has 1 vehicle, so there's only 1 vehicle to slide back and forth here. If I added another vehicle, it would be similar to this carousel up here. So you have multiple carousel or multiple vehicles, multiple stations. And then, so what she's now done is she's plugged her car in, just plugged it into the wall out using the included charging cable that came with her vehicle, hopefully from the manufacturer, or she bought one online. And it's just going to have a plug and a J1772 connection for her vehicle. So she'll plug the car in, and the car will do a pre-charge, and it'll tell her what state of charge percentage her battery is. So let's just pretend it's 24%. Then you can use the slider with your finger, and if you can't get it quite on the percent, you can use these plus and minus to fine tune that. And in case you didn't notice, this looks like a battery with a little positive terminal on there. And so that's what that's all supposed to be. So you set the percentage of your battery, and then you think to yourself, well, how long am I going to be charging here for? Most vehicles will have, after plugging in, a time estimate to either 80% or full, depending on how you've configured your vehicle. So let's pretend she's gonna look in her car and she's gonna see 26%, and well, the car's kind of gonna have a very long estimate on the charging time at 1.92 kilowatts. It's probably gonna take like 37 hours, or no, it's 80 kilowatt hours battery. So it's going to be, it could be 48 hours could be 50 hours. But that's okay. She's not interested in charging her car fully. She just wants to add electricity to her vehicle because she's an opportunistic charger. And whenever she's at home, she's got that convenient plug and she just plugs it in and it just adds a little power. And kind of like a bumblebee going from flower to flower, she adds power wherever she has the opportunity to add energy to her vehicle. So she's not concerned, but she knows it's Friday night. She just got home. It's late. She's plugged her car in and she's going shopping tomorrow. So she's going to be leaving after sleeping in because it was a long week. She's going to be leaving around noon. So let's just go all the way to noon. So that tells us that she's going to be plugged in for 14 hours and 31 minutes. And at the rates that are provided for this station, she's going to be using the 35-cent rate for part of her session and the 52 for, let's see, where's her span? She's going from 9 p.m. to noon the next day. So 9 p.m. is 16, so 35, and then she's going from midnight. Yeah, I should have made that a different rate. Anyway, so she'll be spanning multiple rates. She'll be in this rate category. She'll be in this rate category. Actually, I think she'll be in all of them for this session because it spans 14 hours. At the bottom, there's a cost estimate. All charging sessions will cost 1 token, which you purchase in-app, and that's how you pay us for the usage of the app. Tokens cost roughly 10 cents. And then an estimated USD of $9.31. So that is how you start or set up the charging session. Once you get through that, it's very quick. And then you just click. Oh, let me show you one more thing. If you want to make sure you get a reminder, you'll want to know that your reminders are actually working. So hit this test button. And if it pops up, then notifications are working. But keep in mind, if you put your phone on Do Not Disturb, you're not going to get that notification when the session expires. So check in and start session timer is the next thing you'll do. And since this station has not been used yet, it's going to notify you that there's an updated terms of service and or rate schedule, and that you must review it and agree to it before you're authorized to use the station. So we'll click review now, read it thoroughly, make sure we understand our rights and responsibilities. This is effectively a contract between the station user and the station owner, and then we accept it, and we get a nice an estimate again. This will be $874 plus applicable tax. We start the session. So you've started the session, and what does that actually mean? It means that you've started the timer. There's an email that comes in that shows that your your terms of service that you agree to has arrived, and that will give you. Let me get rid of that. That will give you a copy for your records. All right, so this session is now active, and you can see it's ticking away right here. It's been running for 40 seconds, 41, 42, 43, and this session has all the details you need. The session ID, it's active, the date it started, the owner of the station, the owner of the vehicle that's using the station. Sarah's using her own station. The station ID, the location, address, the vehicle that's using the station, the battery state of charge, where it started, according to what we reported, the start time, and the current duration. Finally, there's a checkout reminder that's going to pop up on Saturday at 12 p.m. And that can be turned off if you want it off, and it can be turned back on if you want it on, and it also can be adjusted. So let me show you just how to make a quick adjustment. So this pencil here opens up a revised checkout time, and let's pretend that Sarah is going to leave at 11:30 a.m. instead. So we're going to update the checkout time. And now the new reminder is set for 11:30 a.m. So this information is important, not only for her to get a reminder so that she can move the vehicle and then others can use the vehicle, but also so that when others look at this station and they see that she's parked there, they can see when it is expected that she will be leaving the station. And there's a little information icon right to the left of this notice here. And it indicates that the expected checkout time is 11:30 a.m. However, the current user may leave before or after this time at their own discretion. So it's a guideline, it's not a guarantee. And in a tight-knit community, the best thing to do is just to get to know each other and exchange phone numbers so that you can text them and say, hey, are you really leaving at 11:30? I really, really need to charge. So you can then communicate in a way that's helpful for both of you. All right, so that session is running. Let's say, just for example, she just realized, oh shoot, I have to go out, and I'm going to come back and start the session again. But somebody called her, and now she's got to go run down to the car, unplug it, and take off. So it's an early checkout effectively. So she's going to come down and hit the checkout button, and it's going to ask her to record the state of charge. Let's say it only added 1%, maybe 2%. All right. So she only got 1.6 kilowatt hour added, which is fine because she was only there for a couple of minutes. So let's end the session, and we'll get a summary that says the status is completed, the date, all the standard information, vehicle, what it started at, 26, what it ended at, 28, how much power is delivered. And then from this information, we can calculate a retrospective cost per kilowatt hour for that session. So really, basically, nothing, because this session didn't last long enough. So these numbers really don't mean anything. But if the vehicle's been there for several hours, 12 hours, 18 hours, then these numbers start to make much more sense, and you can use this to understand what your costs are for actually using this station. The start time, the end time, the duration, and the net price and the taxes in the US. Okay, total due. Okay, so before I just click this button and say we're done and go away, let's pretend she forgot to check out. So she got a call, and she went down to her car, and she just unplugged it, and she took off, did what she needed to do, and then came back. And when she got back, she realized, oh, I forgot to check out. So this button here allows her to make an adjustment. So at any time before this session gets billed or rolled into an invoice at the end of each month, she can make adjustments to these sessions, and the station owner can see that they have been adjusted and the reasons why the adjustments were made. So this adds flexibility, but it also requires additional trust. So this checkout time was originally 9:31 p.m. Let's just leave that, and we'll say the checkout time was 9:45 or 10 o'clock. So let's say it was she was actually there for half an hour before she received her phone call, and we'll just say it was a forgotten checkout, and we'll just click adjust checkout time. So now the summary we get has the original start time 9:31, the end time that she checked out. Actually click the checkout button, the original duration, and then the adjusted start and end, and the adjusted duration. That wasn't quite a good example in that scenario, but I hope you understand what this adjustment allows people to do. Another example of making it or needing to make an adjustment would be if you let's do another one. So let's say I'm checking in, my battery's at 50%, and I'm going to be I want my vehicle to start charging at midnight, and it's programmed to, because it's got a scheduled charge function on it. So even though I plug the car in, it won't actually draw power until it's midnight. I'm going to set my checkout time. So I'll set that to like the morning. Say it's maybe, I don't know, I'm going to get up and leave at 8 a.m. And so now I'm checked in. I'm going to start the session. The vehicle's checked in. It was started at 9:39, but it's actually not charging. The vehicle's plugged in, but at midnight, I don't want to go down and actually plug the vehicle in to get it charging, because the vehicle is just going to start pulling power automatically at midnight because I've programmed it to do that. So this is really nice. And in the morning, then I can come and check out, and I can say, oh, I got, this much extra capacity. I'll end the session. And then I'm going to make an adjustment down at the bottom. So I'm going to go to the adjust time, and I'm going to say, actually, I checked in, or no, sorry, I'll set up my checkout time. So 9 a.m. Whatever, 8 a.m. Let's say that's what time I actually unplugged the vehicle. But the vehicle didn't start actually charging until midnight. So there were only actually 8 hours of electricity consumption happening. And I'll say that was a delayed check-in. Now, why don't I just check in at midnight? Well, first of all, I don't want to have to remember to do it. And second of all, I want to be checked in if I'm plugged in. Because if I'm plugged in and not checked in, and the building manager or the security walks by the vehicle and they see that the vehicle is plugged in, they're going to be wondering why. Like, the whole deal is that if you're plugged in, you should be checked in, because the onus is on you to track your usage honestly. So to get around that and to make sure that that's not a problem, you always check in when your vehicle is plugged in, and you always check out when your vehicle's unplugged, because the stations have the status on them. So a security guard who has the app and has all of the stations can simply walk around the parking lot and just do a visual inspection or a spot check to verify that people are actually honestly checking in. And I'll show you how that status changes. I'll just start a new session. And I'll go to stations, and I'll see this station here is in use. And if I click that, I can see, I can't actually see the status of the station because I'm not the owner. So that was a bad example. Let me use one of the other stations. Cancel. Stations. Okay, so I'm going to pick this station because I'm an owner I have the ability to print the signage, so I'm the owner of this station. And we'll go into Associates, set my battery, set the checkout time, start the session. All right, so this vehicle is checked in. Now, as a security guard, I could be or the building manager or the station owner, I could walk around. Actually, any user can see that this station is in use. And the owner of the station can see actually who's using it. You can see the last three characters of their license plate. So this visually allows the management to it creates an environment where cheating is not really worthwhile. Okay. Yeah, I mean the whole basis of this app is trust. If you don't trust the people that you're dealing with, then go spend $5,000-$10,000 on metered charging stations. If that makes you feel better, if you want everything locked down and smart carded, and you want a third party taking cuts on all the charging fees, go for it. But if you want your charging sessions to be 10 cents and no hardware and no setup, then use our app and get started today. Like, why not? You've already got the outlets scattered around your parking stalls. So use them. And the cost of installing those simple outlets is trivial, really, compared to the cost of charging or installing higher powered and proprietary charging systems. Okay, now the billing tab. Let's take a look at that. So Sarah's a new user. She has a vehicle. She's got one station that she owns. She got one station that she favorited, and there's some sessions. Let's end this session again. There's no more sessions. And go to the billing tab, and you'll see now we've got 4 options up here. There's nothing in payable. There's nothing in receivable. There's nothing in paid because this user, Sarah, has not been on the system for longer than 1 billing cycle. So at the end of the month, all of the sessions that occurred within the month will be billed, and you'll see them listed here. And you'll see them in groups based on the station owners. So multiple stations can be owned by one owner, and the invoicing will have to be with that owner. So you'll have one or more groups based on what stations you're using. So this first group, station owner 1, the contact is David Williston, the address and the email, and the station owner 2 is herself and 1234 Main Street and the contact email. So if we twirl this one down, you can see the sessions for this station owner's stations. And there's basically 2 sessions in here. The first one on this date, the second one on this date, the top and the net cost. And now if you want to inspect one of these, you just click that little pop-out icon right there, and you'll be able to see the ID that it's completed, when it started, when it finished, when the adjusted start, because this was an adjusted session, and $1.93. So as a station owner, you can review these, and you can see that, okay, she checked in and out at the same time, but then made an adjustment. Interesting. Okay. And, okay, so that's fine. And then let's see what this one says. So this one was not adjusted because it's just got a start and an end time and a duration, and then there's just, it's 1 cent. Okay. Okay. So you can review these before they're billed. And if you had an issue with them, right down at the bottom, let's say you didn't have the ability to dispute the session, or sorry, to adjust the time, then you might want to dispute the session. So this link will open an email and start an email conversation between the station owner and the station user. It'll be from the station user to the station owner. So they can talk amongst themselves and make adjustments or arrangements, whatever they may be. But since this station allows adjustments, you can make an adjustment at this time. You can make as many adjustments as you want. Okay, and then the second station, same thing. 2 sessions, 17 cents, 2 cents. You can go into the details. You can do a dispute or just adjust the time. All right, so after the billing runs, you'll see the bills popping up in payable as a station user. You'll see the same bills popping up in receivable as a station owner. And so the bill that shows up in the payable, it will have a due date, and it's the responsibility of the station user to arrange with the station owner the payment. So it could be an email money transfer, cash, a check, cryptocurrency, chickens and eggs, whatever you guys agree on. And then once that payment is made, the station owner will go in and look for the bill within this tab and make sure the payment that they received was the amount that's on the bill. And if those numbers match, there's a button on the bill that says mark it as paid. And when they do that, it'll disappear from this tab, appear in this tab. It'll also at the same time disappear for the user in this tab, and it'll appear for them in this tab. So everybody, no matter who they are, can see all their bills that have been paid and marked as paid in this tab. And there are detailed tutorials in all 3 tabs that show how that works. Finally, support questions. You can send questions, and I think that definitely concludes this tutorial. This went way longer than I anticipated, but that's not bad. That's an hour, and I think that's pretty good. Links to the website on the side. If you can give us a rating on the App Store or the Play Store, and share the app using the share buttons right there, and also when you end a charging session, like so, it will ask you, hey, after you click reviewed, it'll say, hey, how do you like it? And if you give us 5 stars, that will take you to the Play Store or App Store. If you give it 4 stars, it'll do the same thing. If you give us 3 stars, it's going to ask you to send us some feedback. If you give us 2 stars, the same deal. So we really want you to be spreading the positive news to the Play Store and the App Store, and the negative news to us, so that we can fix the problems, so that we don't get 3, 2, and 1 star reviews. We just don't want that. So if you can help us by communicating directly with us when there's problems, that would be super helpful. So let's say this is a 3-star review. Click continue, and you're not going to share it with friends because it's a 3-star in this case. This will take you to the support page, and then hey, the app crashes for some reason all the time. Please help. I have a Samsung, whatever. And then if you leave this on, we'll get hardware details, so we know what processor and make and model of the device. If there's any screenshots, just screenshot them, and then they'll end up in your film roll or your photo album, and you can use this button to open up that and attach an image. If you want to send us more than one image, just send more than one message. When you send the feedback, you're going to get a copy of it. We'll get a copy of it right away, and then we'll respond to it as soon as possible. So that concludes today's tutorial vlog. It started as a vlog, but it ended up in a full-blown tutorial. But hope you liked it. Hope you appreciate what we've built for the electric vehicle community. We want to provide options for EV charging that don't include expensive charging stations and heavy infrastructure, because we've understood very, very, very early on that level one outlets are really very useful if you're parked beside one for very, very long periods of time, like at home. And then the unmetered dumb EV charging stations that you can get for $300-400, and then mounted on a wall that'll give 30-40 amps of charging, but no metering capabilities, are always a good option to look at, because the power levels are constant on those when you're charging. So the power goes up to the maximum and it stays to the maximum for the whole time, and then all the way down. So the calculation of the power transfer is very, very, very simple. We don't need any special electronics. We just need you guys to be honest when you check in, honest when you check out. And if everybody loves each other and everybody takes care of each other, then we all win. So with that, I thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you in the next video, hopefully tomorrow or Monday. Bye for now. I'm David. This is EVnSteven. Bye for now.